The day it all happened is still one of the heaviest days of my life, one of those days that quietly carves a deep mark on your heart. I had always believed that respect is not something you demand, it's something you earn through your intentions, your actions, and the love you give to others. Living with my daughter and her family, I never saw myself as a burden. I had spent my entire life raising her, protecting her, giving her the best I could. And in return, I thought that in my old age I would have a safe corner to spend my remaining years quietly. But life often shows us that expectations and reality can be oceans apart. My son-in-law used to treat me with kindness in the beginning. He would speak respectfully, help me with small chores, and sometimes even sit with me to ask how my day had been. I treated him like my own son. But over time, things changed. His job changed, his habits changed, and perhaps his priorities changed too. My daughter stayed busy with the children and the house, and I tried every day to make things easier for her. But no matter how much you do for people, sometimes your existence becomes invisible to them. It was a quiet morning. I was in the kitchen making tea, and something felt different in the air, something unsettling. My son-in-law was restless, whispering on the phone again and again, stepping out to the balcony, coming back in, pacing around as if hiding something. I didn't think much of it, but as the hours passed, a strange worry started building inside me. By noon, the truth came out, sharp and painful. He opened the door to my room, walked inside without a word, and began dragging out my boxes, my clothes, my small belongings, the precious little things that held memories of my entire life. I stood there frozen, watching him throw them in the hallway like they were nothing. My voice trembled as I asked, "What are you doing?" He didn't look at me. He took a deep breath and replied coldly, "Mom is moving in. She needs the room. You can sleep in the living room from now on." It felt like someone had pulled the ground from under my feet. A lifetime of love, sacrifice, sleepless nights, and care, all reduced to a single sentence. I never imagined I would become unwanted in the very home where I had poured so much love. My eyes filled with tears, but I held them back. "At least tell me before throwing my things," I whispered. "I would have moved them myself." He let out a mocking laugh. "You're not needed in this room anymore, and my mother has her own needs." His tone hurt more than his words. I looked at my daughter standing behind him, her eyes filled with helplessness. She wanted to speak, but she didn't. Maybe she couldn't. Maybe she feared another argument. Maybe she didn't know how to fix what was breaking in front of her. I picked up a few of my clothes myself and walked to the living room. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I simply sat down quietly, swallowing the pain that kept rising in my chest. A few hours later, his mother arrived, proud, loud, and without a hint of warmth. She glanced at me with cold disinterest and walked straight into my room, as though I had never existed. I buried my hurt deep inside me. But life has its own way of balancing things. Within days, the peaceful home turned into a battleground. His mother wanted everything done her way. She criticized every meal, every decision, every small thing my daughter did. She changed the rules in the kitchen, this shouldn't go here, that shouldn't be cooked like this. She complained about the children, calling them noisy and ill-mannered. She even tried to tell my daughter how to raise her own kids, and for the first time, I saw my daughter breaking inside. My son-in-law, the one who proudly made space for his mother by pushing me out, was now losing his patience. His mother constantly ordered him around. "Bring me this. Fix this. Why is the house like this? Why didn't you do that?" Nothing was ever good enough for her. Every decision his wife made was questioned by his mother. Every meal was criticized. She controlled the house like a queen, and there was no space for anyone else's comfort or voice. Late at night, while everyone was asleep, I would lie awake on the sofa with a blanket pulled over me, listening to muffled arguments coming from behind closed doors. One night, the argument wasn't muffled anymore. His mother was shouting, "I didn't come here to do chores. I won't cook. I won't look after the kids. And your wife doesn't know how to run a proper home." Her voice was sharp enough to cut the silence in half. My daughter stood by the wall, tears streaming down her face. She was breaking silently, and I felt helpless lying in the living room, unable to take her pain away. My son-in-law finally snapped. "Mom, stop," he yelled. "You're making things worse. I brought you here to relax, not to take over the entire house. You've turned everything upside down." His mother didn't back down. "I am your mother. I have the right to say what I want." He pressed his hands against his head in frustration. It was the first time he realized what he had brought into his home. A few more days passed, and the situation grew unbearable. He came home one evening exhausted and defeated. His mother had fought with the kids, insulted my daughter, and complained all day long. Finally, he told her, "Mom, maybe you should stay with Aunt for a while. Things aren't working here." She left angrily, slamming the door behind her and muttering insults as she walked out. But her departure brought a heavy silence to the house. Later that night, my son-in-law stood in front of me. He didn't speak for a long time. He just looked at the floor, ashamed, guilt weighing heavily on his face. Finally, he whispered, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that to you. I shouldn't have thrown out your things. I shouldn't have treated you like you didn't matter. I was wrong. Please, forgive me." I looked at him, and despite the pain he had caused me, my heart softened. "You're like a son to me," I said quietly. "I don't hold grudges. But I hope you learned something from all this." He nodded, unable to speak. The next morning, he cleaned my room himself. He placed my belongings back neatly, fixing everything he had messed up. He helped me move back into my room with respect this time, not anger. My daughter hugged me tightly, apologizing again and again. That day, I realized something important: mistakes don't define people, but the lessons they learn do. My son-in-law learned that replacing someone's place in a home is easy, but replacing the peace they bring is not. He learned that hospitality is not the same as harmony. He learned that respect for elders is not optional, and no outsider, no matter who, can fill the space of someone who genuinely cares for the family. Things slowly returned to normal. The house became peaceful again, and my son-in-law treated me with more respect than ever before. But the memory of that day, the sight of my belongings being thrown out, the feeling of being unwanted, those scars remain. They teach me, remind me, and strengthen me. And I know they remain with him too. Because nothing teaches a person faster than regret.